would you defend your actions?
Is this the court of law right now?
Yeah, we're asking. This is.
I mean, if you want to play a little tonsil hockey, like in public, like who's shaming you?
So what Cookie saw and what Cookie was disgusted by, you would do again.
He loved it.
You would do it again.
Cookie wasn't disgusted. He loved it.
I'm just asking. Would you do it again in public?
Matt, you want to do it with me again in public?
Are you guys going to do it right now, please? right here on the.
That was what I saw.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. We are here in the peanut butter jar, the Shark Tank. We're not at Casa del Varnum, I can tell you that. It is 45 degrees outside. I'm freezing. We are in the middle of a garage.
Yeah, it might actually be less than 45 degrees.
Do you think it could be in the... Can
I
get an update, please?
It's 42.
42 degrees outside.
It is actually 53.
It's
I got
53?
48. 53 degrees. Right?
You got 48?
I got 48.
All right, well,
The wind chill.
way,
The wind chill.
There's no wind in here. We are in the middle of a garage. The acoustics are terrible here because Davenport's just got nothing. Davenport.
It's just studs.
There's 3 studs here. I don't know about you. That's an extra
No,
stud.
I don't have any drywall in my garage. It's a fucking
Studs
garage.
and dud is what we're seeing right now.
But does the car lift help out with the acoustics?
The car lift's kind of cool. So Davenport's got a big-ass garage. It's massive. It looked like you could fit like an RV in here. And he's got a car lift.
We actually took it for a ride earlier while you were gone.
The car lift?
Yes. We went to the top. On the way back down, we realized we were less than an inch away from tearing the mirror off of his Volkswagen.
It would have been fine. You wouldn't have been able to tell any difference on the Volkswagen.
Yeah, because the Volkswagen's a fucking beast. Except for right now.
It's seen some things. Now, earlier, and I'm gonna admit this. I'm gonna play with the magic of radio. In a little bit, we're gonna hear from Tolbert. But Tolbert's already been recorded because Tolbert came to this party and left already.
He came, he saw, he went.
And also, Cookie just arrived at this party. So Cookie is not going to be in that segment. So
hello, world. I am here.
Cookie, the Cookosaurus Rex is
to be fair, so we said we were going to record around 5 or 6-ish.
Right.
So Cookie being on Cookie time, tells us he's going to be 15 minutes late. And he told us that, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
He leaves Charlotte. On the way back, he says he's going to be here at 6:26. Rolled into the driveway, 6:26.
Cookie, I'm actually very proud of you, man. Your time has been a lot more predictable these days. It's very easy to see.
It's because we made him aware of his issue.
I'm trying to improve my way of life here.
I'm glad, Cookie, that you are all about self improvement.
Yeah, last week I was about self-harm as Darby Allin, but now...
Wait, is Darby here?
No.
Darby's not here?
No, here he comes. Cookie's back. There we go.
Okay,
Sorry. Just some residual Darby Allin
sure.
stuck in my voice.
All right, so today we're talking about Starrcade. And Starrcade, one of the premier events for NWA and WCW. It was an event that kicked off in 1983, and it was one of the biggest deals ever. A Flair for gold.
Yes.
You got Ric Flair, you got Harley Race. Ric Flair beats Harley Race in a cage for that NWA 10 pounds of gold. That's a huge deal. It's in Greensboro Coliseum. They built upon that for about 10 years. And then when WCW took over, maybe it's not as big of a deal as it was.
How did WCW come to get that name and that?
Well, so WCW Turner, when it was Jim Crockett Promotions, they started losing a lot of money. They were making some bad investment deals. They were making some bad booking decisions. Started hemorrhaging money. They moved their headquarters from what was Charlotte. They moved it to Atlanta. Then they tried to do some stuff in Houston. Just things were kind of falling apart. And then Ted Turner, with Turner Broadcasting, stepped in.
Not Tina Turner.
Not Tina Turner. This is Ted, Tina's younger brother. And Ted stepped in, gave them a lifeline because he knew that on his channel, he always had professional wrestling. Professional wrestling kind of established his channel back in the early 80s as a major player in the cable broadcast. And with that, they became WCW, World Championship Wrestling. and they kind of kept all the traditions that NWA had. They were still the wrestling promotion, that down-home wrestling style, as opposed to Vince McMahon's sports entertainment style. Starrcade, though, was still a big event. Maybe not as big as it was when NWA had it. And you could see that. Like, as years go on, maybe Halloween Havoc was more important. Maybe Fall Brawl. Like, it just depended on what was going on. Starrcade was no longer their WrestleMania.
But from our match choices, you can still see there's still star power.
There definitely is, and they're always using this. Starrcade was a good place for blow-offs.
Yes,
and you would have maybe like a feud that was going on forever, and you put together these two guys in a match. Somebody probably is going to win clean. It's probably going to be a finite ending to one of their storylines. Let's start.
I thought you were gonna go with. I thought
Aaron
it was
looks
gonna be
at
more
me
with
like
that.
I have some kind of insight, and I'm just listening. Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Mike, I heard because I've got these headphones on, and I just hear Mike breathing very heavily, and I don't know if it was an apnea, a sleep apnea. It sounded like he stopped breathing, and I look over, and I thought he was about to say
I just want to
something.
point out that you're not boring me. Maybe because I'm standing up because we're in the garage that like my legs were locked too far and I was about to pass out.
I look over.
Was his breathing better or worse than when he was heavy breathing and reading off his shit list?
Dude, it's similar, but he stopped breathing. That was the thing. He stopped breathing, and when he stopped,
he got weird.
I looked. I thought he was going to contribute to the conversation.
Where and in what world would I contribute to that conversation?
I thought maybe you no longer are the Greenhorn.
Not only is that wrestling older than I am, it is well past or well before I actually started following wrestling.
You started following wrestling, what, 2.5 years ago?
I'm going to tell my kids about the origin of AEW. I have no idea about NWA.
You are going to be that guy. You're going to be like, I remember when AEW first started. I was there. I watched John Moxley and Kenny Omega get slammed into glass. And then they got slammed on a thing full of barbed wire. Okay, Mike, let me bring you into this conversation. What were your thoughts on Full Gear?
Full Gear? Oh, I liked Full Gear. It was actually, I think, how would I say this? It wasn't my favorite AEW pay-per-view. It was pretty slow throughout the whole thing. Finished with two kind of big matches. I don't know. I mean, it was a good pay-per-view. It was solid.
You really liked I know you really liked Y2J and
yeah, I mean,
Cody.
Who wouldn't? Right? Like,
it was great. It was a great match.
Phenomenal match. We were talking about while it's happening, like the slow build, the back and forth, the psychology of it, the Cody's hard way face thing. I mean, some people are saying he bladed, but I don't.
I don't think
he literally
that
ate.
Looked hard.
He ate the diamond plate.
Yeah, it looked pretty bad. And then what did you think about the shit show that was John Moxley against Omega?
Again, it was another thing where
it was entertaining.
It was very entertaining. It actually went pretty long. It was like 30-some minutes. It was
like you were falling asleep at one point, and you're like, I just gotta see the finish of this match.
No, was it that one? No.
Oh yeah, no. It was that match.
Well,
I made you stand up so you could.
Yeah, true. But it was good. It was just the right amount of blood. Like there's a couple scenes where like after Omega swept his back with the barbed wire broom, and
it was kind of gross.
The blood was pouring down the front of his traps and shoulders.
Rough.
I was like, this is pretty good. And then we had the
mouse trap spots.
No. What's Omega's move where he knees
the V trigger,
the V trigger into the Full Gear sign.
That was pretty cool.
It was good. The way it ended, you got to actually dive deep and see how a ring's set up with the pine boards and
I was talking to you. I'm like, that's just gonna be boards. He's just gonna be doing it on boards, and you're like, oh, that's what a ring looks like.
Do you have more respect now for Kenny Omega?
More respect? I mean, I've
always or is it Aaron?
I hate him. I still hate him.
Aaron has been indoctrinated into the world of Cornette.
I agree with Cornette.
I like Kenny Omega's work rate. I like the way I think the visuals are sometimes a little much, but I think the way he moves.
Jazz hands.
So, would you put respect on his name?
Put respect on his name.
I mean, sure. I mean, I don't know exactly the connotation of that. I'm a dad, dude. I'm a white dad, middle class America. I have no idea what that means.
That's right, boys. We're gonna go watch professional wrestling. We're gonna get home
Birdman
tonight.
would be so upset with you.
I'm gonna pay my mortgage and then
I'm gonna make some. hey, I'm gonna treat y'all tonight with some dinosaur chicken nuggets, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch some wrestling.
That's exactly.
If I said cash
I'm not
money,
even kidding. That's what he did last
exactly
night.
what happened.
Is that really
He
what
did
happened?
dinosaur chicken nuggets.
I made my son dino nuggets.
I've had those dinosaur chicken nuggets. They're fucking delicious.
I made my son
they taste
dino
like
nuggets,
shit.
and then we watched Full Gear.
That's exactly what we did last night.
So
I come over. I'm like, I'm hungry, and he's like, well, we got dinosaur chicken nuggets, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to Arby's.
Which one's better?
Arby's was I felt
it
at least like
questionable?
I felt like more of an adult
Well, I
eating
appreciate-
Arby's.
Did you eat the dino nuggets?
No.
Because I
You
ate them all.
should've fucking ate
I
the
appreciate
dino
Aaron
nuggets.
actually not referencing the fact that I burnt the popcorn.
I was about to say that, Mike.
How do you burn the popcorn?
Okay, guys, can I?
There
let
are
me,
instructions on the.
let me set the stage. Let me set the stage. Let me set the stage.
instructions.
I'm going to set the stage. Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho are about to come out. It's this big thing. They're just airing the pre-match package. It is this thing. It's building up. Mike's like, I'm going to go get some popcorn. Mike goes into the kitchen, and the popcorn starts popping, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, Cody's about to, like, come out, and Mike's like, the kitchen's on fire! And I'm like, what?
I never said that.
I look, and there's, like, it's starting to smoke up in there, and I smell the burning popcorn. He's like, there's a smoldering mess, and I had to wash it down.
I clearly was not that like overexcited about it. I've burnt popcorn before. The instructions said most of the time it is
4
done.
minutes.
It's done within 4 minutes.
Sounds about right.
3.5 minutes.
So
on
I
that.
read it and I put 4 minutes on the clock and I let it go and I stop it a minute early because I'm like, this isn't right. And then I open it. I'm like, I've been here before. Luckily this time when I opened it, there was not an actual flame. So
There was smolder.
I pour it in the bowl. I put the bowl into the sink. I start I hose it down and you hear that. Tss. I'm like, oh fuck, god damn it.
You've done this before.
I've done this before.
$2 bake is now.
I can make some
popcorn.
sourdough. I can make a baller lobster chowder.
He cannot make
You
popcorn.
can't make
popcorn.
instant popcorn.
Microwavable popcorn.
I think it's
ladies and
below me.
gentlemen.
I mean, it's
Peanut
don't
butter
understand.
Pittsburgh over here, and his popcorn.
Anyway, I fucked up the popcorn. It didn't fuck up the match. We enjoyed it anyway. I made another batch. It was good. It was all good.
All right, let's get to our match.
You made another botch.
Oh, I did botch the popcorn. Thank you, Davenport. That was a good wrestling reference.
All right, let's start off. Our first matchup of the evening is Eddie Guerrero
Latino, he.
against the man of 1,000 holds, the Iceman, Dean Malenko from Starrcade. Can you tell me, Michael, about this matchup?
Yeah, so it was Starrcade 97. When what day was this? It didn't make end of the year, right?
I think it was.
So we know it was end of the year because it was after the Montreal Screwjob,
which happened in November.
because they talked about Brett coming in and being the referee for one of the matches. So the video that we'll tweet out, it actually starts out. I think they're already in the ring, and Eddie's got this. I've become a fan of the mullets. Right, the mullets are back in. Davenport rocks a mullet. Eddie's got one of the stringy mullets.
It's a little greasy,
Not,
a little nasty.
it's a little long. It's a little thin. It's a little stringy. Not a big fan of it. But I know Eddie. I know he works well. He is not as big as he is in WWE.
Right. Well, things happen between them.
Yeah. So Eddie's there. Dean's there. I know a little bit about Dean Malenko. The one thing I told Aaron though, I was really upset because every time I saw him and every time they referenced his name, the only thing I thought of was armbar.
Right. But I don't even think he did an armbar the entire.
No, he didn't. He didn't. It's just Jericho's reference to Dean Malenko is the only thing I could think of. But so I mean, the match starts quick. It's a well-paced match. We had a couple massive. It was power slams, and then a huge scoop slam that looked really, really good. The whole time I'm watching this, it's again, it was well paced. They're equal sized. And I really appreciated just how into it was. Like sometimes you watch a stiff match where they're like hitting and kicking pretty aggressively. These guys weren't stiff in those regards, but they were very stiff in terms of the moves and how they landed and how they kind of went through with it.
There was a snap to everything. It was very smooth.
It was crisp. I guess that's how I would describe it. It was crisp. It was.
And with that, and you see a lot of. And I've heard this a lot with AEW. It seems like sometimes a lot of these moves are rehearsed.
Yeah.
It felt like none of those moves were
it was
rehearsed, but it still felt organic.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously you know that either they're calling it in the ring or they called it beforehand, so they know what's going to happen. But they weren't standing there waiting for the drop. Or
there was no cooperation.
Yeah. You couldn't see it.
It's not a spot fest.
They were. I mean, but they had referenced that they had actually kind of worked together a lot beforehand. Like they've met 27 times or something.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Maybe more than that, but it was very good. It was well paced.
Are you bringing Davenport's distracting us with koozies?
Throwing koozies at
Mission Barbecue koozies.
Farm Bureau
The American
Insurance.
way.
Oh no, that's James E.
You
Brendel.
know, honestly, like you bring me a koozie, but you don't bring me a beer.
Because the koozies were already out here.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
I got bored with your wrestling talk because I don't follow. So
All right, let's finish.
I mean, I'll be honest. I watched my match the first time at 4:00 in the morning when I couldn't sleep because my son kept me up. But I can't remember the. Do you remember the finish of the match?
No, not now. No, I don't because that was your job
That's
to
what
do.
I'm supposed to do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Eddie wins.
Eddie retains. He does.
That's it. So it was for the cruiserweight title,
Right.
Well, Cookie. So let me preface this whole thing. I have 0 notes. We struggled to get power to the setup out here in the garage because Davenport had the breaker switched off for his garage.
Why?
Well, that's a part of the shit list, though.
No, it wasn't going to be on the shit list.
That was. Well, it is now.
I was about to say.
Well, Aaron just put it on the shit list, so apparently.
what? Because y'all don't know how to figure out how to work breakers.
No, we know we did.
Who
but
turns off the breaker to a garage?
Why would I leave the breaker on? There's like if I'm
Because
going to
it's
be
a
gone
garage.
for 48 hours, why would I leave the breaker
All right.
on?
Anyway, so Eddie Guerrero wins. It was a good matchup. You enjoyed
It was solid. It was really good. I really appreciated again how they worked. Again, the punches, the kicks, none of them were super stiff, but the crispness and how, dude, when I say because each of them landed one of those big, huge body slams where you're like. I mean, you played football. You had that hit where you flat back it and you whip your head back into the ground. And each time you see one of those, I cringe because I know that like if they don't, and just like Tolbert might not, if they don't tuck their chin with that head back, huge concussion.
Right.
So no, I really appreciate it. It was a good match. It was well paced. I keep saying that, but I mean, it wasn't like anything to like send home. You know, I wouldn't say like you have to watch this match.
I felt that way. I felt that you have to watch that.
Well,
match.
see, you know more than I do. I'm just going off like my first impression, but it was good. It was really good.
I mean, it's two technical wrestlers going at it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very smooth match. From what I've seen.
I never once did I look at my phone. Never once did I say "wrap it up, boys." I don't think there was zero. There were zero botches.
Zero.
It was just a good wrestling match.
All right, let's get to the social media update. Mike, you don't have any notes.
I have 0 notes.
You tweeted a lot this week. You lost 2 followers.
I tweeted a lot on Sunday, Monday, or Monday, Tuesday.
Too much.
Apparently, it was too much because I was just getting after it. I don't know what inspired me to just kind of start rattling these things off, but I lost a couple followers. But we're back to 210. I think we're back to. I found 1 or 2.
And with this segment, I think we've lost a few listeners too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. You know, this segment way back when. Actually, we're 211.
We're 211.
Checking
Okay.
today, we're back to 211. We were at 214 last week, I think. You know, it just kind of is what it is. It's this thing.
It's the ebb and
I don't
flow.
think, did Tolbert actually post anything on Instagram this week?
No, he did today. He
that
did
count?
today.
Are we going to count that?
We're not going to count that.
Let's confirm that he actually. Yeah, he did. He posted the setup of this here podcast for the first.
And I'm actually surprised that he did that because he was gone at that point.
Tolbert was
He
imbibing
participated
on
in $2 bake.
alcohol. He was imbibing on.
He was more than $2 baked.
As you will
I
hear
see
later.
he left his blunt here.
No, that is a Cohiba cigar.
Oh, okay.
That Tolbert was also partaking in. I said, hey, man, you probably shouldn't be drinking, smoking weed, and doing a Cohiba. But
And Tolbert, being Tolbert,
did it anyway.
did it anyway. All right, so let's get to Big Mike's shit list.
My shit list this week. Actually, again, we had a good week. Nobody really pissed me off. I mean, I shot at him last week. I don't want to go after the WWE again. I'll say honorable mention shit list to the SmackDown where the Revival just lost the belts.
And it was sad.
We tweeted out earlier this week that we were really excited about the Survivor Series, NXT, Raw, SmackDown champions. We're like, let the Revival call the match. This could be amazing because we like the War Raiders. I don't know who the other guys are, and we like the,
Who are the other
Revival.
guys?
It's the
Yeah, they're good.
They're good. You know what I mean? So we were really excited about that. It was the first wrestling match on SmackDown on Friday, and I watched it. I texted the boys. I said, fuck WWE, and I turned it off, and I turned on a Nazi documentary, actually.
Oh, that's great. They're very, they're very similar.
We just lost
The
10,000.
Devil Next Door on Netflix about the Nazi guy, Ivan the Terrible. But anyway, I'm going to say that's an honorable mention because you can't shoot on WWE twice, right?
Right.
Go ahead, Matt. I know you have something to say.
Go ahead. Yeah, what are you thinking, Dan?
Well, I was just going to make a complaint as a avid listener was that you said last week that you're going to start going back to the "this isn't wrestling" tweet, and I did not see.
Yeah, I didn't see one of those either.
I'm
So
at work.
it's a
and
timing thing.
That's the only time I ever look at Twitter is at work, and I never see the "this isn't wrestling."
I know you don't understand this, but when you are on Twitter, you have to be quick to fire off some things, right? So we follow a finite number of non-wrestling related Twitter handles, and when they don't tweet things that we see immediately, you can't just fire off a "this isn't wrestling."
Disagree.
No, because
Hard disagree.
if you catch something 30 minutes later, like you write "this isn't wrestling," nobody's going to see that. Nobody's going to give a shit.
I think it's more funny because like then it just
More
shows
funny.
that you're scrolling through and you're like, oh, why am I seeing this? This
Pancakes.
isn't wrestling.
Yeah, but it's not going to show up on anybody's thing because they're not going to click on it and they're not going to see it. You have to get that immediate thing. We had several, and if I had my computer, I would point them out. But we had several 30-second, 40-second notices. Last night even, yeah, and I got some good traction on those. I think that's where we got a couple followers. Anyway, I'll get to the actual shit list because the shit list originated with me calling out people who unfollowed us, right?
Right.
So
and then it became old man yelling, "Get clout."
Yes. And now we're back to people that unfollowed us. The problem was that the losers that unfollowed us had such lame and unoriginal kind of content on their Twitter handle and or Twitter bio. You can't shit on it, right?
Hey, did the sex bots? Are the sex bots still following us? We got another one this week.
I think we got another sex bot. So in case you guys care, we did find another sex bot. I did not again follow her back, but
you should follow her back.
no.
Only
Anyway,
if you're 18 and older.
I'm going to follow her.
I'm going to start with Douglas Campbell.
Doug Campbell.
This is just a middle class white American name, right? He works in Nashville, Virginia.
I don't even know where that is.
Neither do I. He's a big hockey, wrestling, CFL,
He likes the Canadian Football League.
Watches the Canadian Football League.
and movies.
Oh, you know what? The CFL, they don't take a knee during their national anthem.
They love
Is he a
America,
Johnny
right?
Manziel fan?
No, they love America.
They love America. They love.
The CFL loves America. Anyway, so he says Nashville, Virginia, but then his location says Nashville, Tennessee. I got nothing to shit on besides what we already did. But if you do want to check out Douglas Campbell at, get this, Red Wings 28.
Red Wings.
So he's a Detroit fan. Yeah,
He doesn't even if he's not in Nashville,
Anyway.
he's not a Predators fan.
Exactly. Do yourself a favor.
Nashville, Tennessee, not Nashville, Virginia.
No,
Right, that's what we were saying.
His handle says, or his bio says Nashville, Virginia. His location says Nashville, Tennessee. Anyway, Douglas Campbell, long story short, look at his Twitter picture, and that is his shit list, shit talk. Is his Twitter picture.
All right, Douglas Campbell, you have made Big Mike's shit list.
All right, last on the shit list, again, really like poor effort on her, I'm not sure, profile. It's Taz Life. At Taz Life, their thing is literally like red heart kissy lips.
Oh, he's right. Tazzy Life. I think this could be a sex bot.
Is it? No, I don't think so because they actually interact. They have 2,500 followers, 45 people they're following, one of which was unfollowed, which was us. Watcher, listener, and accumulator of knowledge. This thing clearly doesn't care about wrestling knowledge because they stopped following us.
What's her name?
Tazzy Life.
Tazzy Life, you've made Big Mike's shit list.
Shit list.
All right, so here we are at the Strong Style. Cookie, you have got a matchup between Doom and Barry Windham and Arn Anderson.
Now, I will say before I went into this match, I had no clue who Doom was. I thought Doom was the same thing as
The video game?
No, not the video game.
The Dungeon of Doom?
The Dungeon of Doom. That's what I was thinking of. I was thinking
Wasn't
of
that
the
Duke
Dungeon of
Nukem?
Doom.
Duke Nukem's different.
Same thing.
That's definitely not Doom.
All right, so tell me,
big-ass
so
two bubbles
who
with Duke
is
Nukem.
Doom?
Doom is a tag team led by my man Theodore Long. Holla, holla, holla.
Holla, holla, holla. We making this a tag team matchup.
Player. All right. And
That's your main event. This tag team matchup.
one of my favorite GMs from the SmackDown era. Butch Reed.
Butch Reed,
Badass motherfucker.
former chief, right?
Yeah, former chief, linebacker. And Ron Simmons.
Damn.
Former FSU nose tackle. Two of the baddest SOBs to ever probably lace up some boots.
They are two strong, well-fed men.
Very well fed. Corn fed, probably, more than likely.
These boys are
They
huge.
do some big boys. But going against them, you have the Four Horsemen. Two of the Four Horsemen. You have Barry Windham, he's a tall boy.
He's a tall boy.
He's a big boy.
He's
And-
tall and skinny in this time.
And you got the Enforcer, my man, AA, Arn Anderson.
Arn Anderson.
Just both of them big horses.
Hoss.
You do not want to mess with them. Clearly, they have a couple in them. They're gonna knock you out.
That's
of course.
right. That's
so,
right.
this looked like just from the start, just from looking at the two teams, looked like it was gonna be one of the hardest hitting matches I've ever
Right,
seen.
and it was a shit show.
And it was a shit show. As soon as the two teams, like I think, saw each other, they started wrestling. Like before the little, I don't even know what you want to call it, the little match display of the demographics.
I love the little like fireworks they had in the corners
Yeah.
and the pictures of the teams.
Yeah, I
and,
thought
like,
pretty
it was
cool.
good.
It was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So they automatically went at it. So anyway, you got Windham and Arn. They look slim thick. You got Ron and Reed. They look like freaking oxes. Perfect mix for a match. And as an added bonus, like I said, we got my man Theodore Long.
We making this a tag team match.
You got Teddy. Holla, holla, holla.
Holla, 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 holla.
The tag team champions on the line up here at Starrcade, and these teams both were evenly matched. Street match rules, cowboy boots, cut-off shirts, and chaps.
Chaps. They
This-
all had them.
This is the strong style.
This is strong style for the night.
Let's get to the countdown, baby.
Cookies top 4. Number 1.
That chair shot heard around the world.
Jesus
Arn
Christ.
Anderson read back and slapped Reed's whole nose off with that chair shot. In my opinion, I doubt he bled the hard way after that shot. But if he actually did, I wouldn't be surprised.
And I think if he did not have CTE from his NFL career, I think that he probably got it from wrestling Arn Anderson.
100%. There's a reason why they call him the Enforcer, ladies and gentlemen.
Number 2.
Ron Simmons flashback to his FSU days. Now, you might not know what I'm talking about off the bat, but Simmons used to be a nose tackle, and I believe he saw green and orange as Barry Windham was charging at him because he literally hoisted Barry up and dropped him with ease. And Barry is a big man, like I said, 6'4", 6'5", probably.
He's tall.
Over 250 pounds. Spine buster for sure. If this was a rugby match, he'd be called for a high tackle.
That's
and
right.
carded with the yellow. And if Barry were playing for Furman, never mind. Never mind. I digress. Let's not get into that.
Woo! Number 3.
Butch Reed delivered a pile driver to the much taller Barry Windham that was so nasty, Stone Cold Steve Austin started stretching his own neck. I mean, he barely got Barry vertical before he dropped him directly on his head. And I thought he was dead as soon as he dropped him on his head.
It was good.
JR, I realized after the match was on commentary, and I was ready for him to say, by God, that man's broken in half.
It was JR and it was Paul Heyman.
It was
Paulie
Heyman.
when
Paulie
they were-
dangerously.
They were discussing the match afterwards. You could tell. Oh, okay.
Hold tight.
Oh, that sounds like it's going to be an
Hold
honorable
tight.
mention.
Hold tight.
Number 4.
I didn't know it was JR and Paul Heyman, but their banter at the end was legit gold. Because Heyman says to JR, you need to apologize because I want to know who won the match. By the way, guys, the match ended in a double finish, so both of them were pinned at the same time.
Yeah, it worked. It was fine.
It did. JR responds with, well, I do too, stupid. You think I'm just sitting here like an idiot? Paul says, go ahead, say it again. Call me an idiot. JR looked like he was about to take off his headset and square up with Paulie.
Who was very skinny at the time.
Very skinny. And Paul just stared at him while JR kept going with the show. Paul, by the way, clearly balding at this time. But I wonder, will he
Still
shave it
bald.
off? I wonder, will he shave it off in the future? Or try to hold on to that remaining hair that he has?
Spoiler alert, he didn't.
He did. He still has the little sides, I think. I think he still has a little
He's
bit of
holding
hair.
on.
He's holding on to it. Anyway,
Cookies, honorable mentions.
the weight belt that they used early in the match, just like digging that metal bar into each other's head.
that was gross.
Oh, it was disgusting. Using they just slapping each other with it over the heads. I was like, oh, this is disgusting. And if I watched Full Gear, I probably would have been like Cody. Thinking about, I saw that Chris Jericho was wearing a weight belt as well.
Yeah. They had like there
he
was a
beat him
couple
with it.
spots.
He beat him with it.
I assumed that he was going to.
Can I make a reference to Full Gear right now?
Go ahead, go for it.
You look like a member of the team Pride and Prejudice. Isn't that what they're called? What is it?
Pride and Power.
Pride and Power.
Isn't that a book
That's a
that we
movie
read?
or
That was a book that we read back in the day. I think Pride and Prejudice.
He's got the bandana on. He looks like him and Ortiz could be biting ropes
He's
together.
black. He's not Puerto Rican, Aaron.
Oh my God! Come on now. All right, keep on
Come
going.
on, man. Come on.
Damn.
All right, so the cameramen at WCW must be horrible because at 6 minutes into the match, Arn looked fine. Everything was intact. His clothes were intact. He may have even had his hat still on. At 6 minutes and 45 seconds, Arn is bloodied. He's bald now. His shirt is ripped down the middle. What the hell did I miss? What happened to Arn? Answer: Butch Reed happened
Butch
to Arn.
Reed.
But I didn't get a chance to see it because the cameraman fucked up.
Did you see that shoulder block that Butch Reed did? Like
Yeah,
off the rope?
top rope. I thought it was
my
badass.
God, it was so good.
That was another one of my honorable mentions.
I'm sorry.
by the way.
Tell me about it.
It's okay. Don't worry
Hey,
about it.
name a more classic thing. Aaron and spoiling cookies. Honorable mention.
Every single week I spoil one of his. Hey, man, did you see this?
Did you see this? Like, wait a minute.
Yes.
Wait, I'm getting to it.
Yes, he did, Aaron.
He did, and I
Give
feel
him-
bad.
give
I feel
him
bad.
time.
I just get so excited about Cookies' honorable mentions.
I got two more. Here we go. The double pin at the very end. The
Okay.
fact that none of these wrestlers cared about the pin nor the bell. I thought AEW was bad about neglecting rules, but Doom and the Horsemen really gave zero fucks. They just kept
wanted to beat
fighting
the
each other
shit out of
after
each
the
other.
bell rang. All the way to the back.
It was like another 5 minutes of them fighting. It was awesome.
It was great. All right, last one. You can clearly see the ref waiting for Reed to make the cover on Arn Anderson at the very end, while Windham rolled up Ron Simmons in the other corner.
Uh-huh.
So I was just like, well,
That's
this
what
is
it's gonna be,
clearly fake here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, that's
I know,
is
it's
that
really
a half
sad.
a
it's
cookie?
a
was a
word.
sad
It's a
honorable
word
mention, man.
cookie.
It's a half a cookie.
It was half a cookie, but it's not. This match gets 5 cookies.
Really? Wow.
I love this match.
I knew you
loved
would.
it. It was awesome. It was funny. It was quick, full of action, and star-studded.
It came in.
It delivered,
and then it left.
And then it left. They all left together.
And JR was so confused at the end.
The big surprise is Teddy Long, Paulie Dangerously, and my man JR all in the match. And I didn't even know they were in the match until the very end of it. So like it was awesome. It was a cool match.
And I'm going to spoil something next week. You have got a non-traditional Survivor Series match. Have you seen what your match is?
Listen, that is one of my favorite matches. I've already watched it.
Oh
And I'm
God,
about
it's
watch
gonna
it.
be we got 2 5-star cookie matches.
Listen, this is one of my favorite matches, or favorite pay-per-views, I'm sorry, because it was the first Elimination Chamber pay-per-view
that you watched.
that I watched, and it was the first one that I watched. So this was a really cool, and it's a really cool spoiler. Oh, not a spoiler, a really cool thing that happens at the very end. Yeah. So
Okay.
So I can't wait to talk about it next week. But good match. It's gonna
I'm
be a really good
excited
match.
about next week's episode, even if Survivor Series may not be as fun as Starrcade.
That.
sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, the main event was what, Brock Lesnar versus Big Show at that event.
Yeah, it was not a good match.
That was not a good match.
It was not a good match. All right, so let's finish this up and let's get to the high spot. All right, now time for the high spot. We're doing this a little bit out of order this week. Tolbert can't stay for all of Friendsgiving, so Tolbert, we're actually recording yours first, which is a first.
It is a first.
it's interesting because, Cookie is not always here on time. So right now, Cookie is not here. So it's just me, Davenport, Tolbert, and Big Mike. Tolbert, your match this week is Mike Awesome taking on Bam Bam Bigelow from Starrcade 2000.
Starrcade, man. What a Starrcade it was.
You say that that's Tolbert's line now. It's blah, 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 blah. It was.
It's over. What else was on this Starrcade?
Yep.
Razor Ramon had a match.
How do you know?
Terry Funk won the hardcore
Yeah,
title.
he did. Terry did.
Prior to this
Prior
match.
to the day before, yeah.
Starrcades were always awesome. They're always fun, right?
Yeah, Starrcade's it's a fun and exciting thing. It started off in the 80s, and now they're trying to bring it back a little bit in WWE, and maybe it's not as big of a deal as it was, but at a time, Starrcade was the WrestleMania sort of, like, maybe their one or two show for WCW.
Well, at this time, it was not the 80s. It was 2000.
Right, but you had that 70s guy, though. It was 70s-ish.
That 70s guy was confused about what time period it was. But the first to make his way out was Bam Bam Bigelow.
Big old Bam Bam.
Oh, man, the beast from the East. Making his way down, looking as mean as ever. Showing his age a little bit. And I made the joke about that earlier, and you said, well, he died shortly afterwards.
Yeah, he didn't have too many years after this, and nor did Mike Awesome. But you know what? They both are.
Hey, he still looks mean. He's still convincing and intimidating as all hell.
It's because he's not dead yet.
Yeah, and he'll always scare the shit out of me. Anyway, he makes his way to the ring looking tough as ever, and then comes that 70s guy.
Mike Awesome.
Mike Awesome, dressed like a fucking 70s guy.
With the same beautiful mullet as Matt Davenport.
He's already in my top 5 wrestlers.
I know. And when every time Davenport has a match on our show, I try to pick a Mike Awesome match where his mullet is glorious. This is probably peak Mike Awesome mullet right now. If Davenport can take a little gander, it's about the same length as yours right now. Maybe a little bit more body than yours.
Nice.
Yeah, his sides are definitely more shaved than mine, but yeah, it's good.
You have the
looking
curls,
mullet.
though. You have the curls.
You do have
It's good looking mullet. Props to him.
He's rocking the jeans and the leather jacket.
That's
and
right.
Comes in. It's kind of funny because he has to undress to make his way down to the ring.
He's like Naito.
But before the entrances, we have a little montage going on of the feud that's been going on between these two in the weeks leading up to Starrcade. First, let's see. He attacked Bam Bam at one point during a match.
Right.
And then Bam Bam attacked him coming out of an ambulance. Surprise attack out of an ambulance, and just continued on and on and on. And this led up to this match being an ambulance match.
An ambulance match. Can you tell me a little bit what the implications are of an ambulance match?
So the rules are, there really are no rules.
There's no rules.
Yeah, no rules. There is an ambulance parked at the top of the ramp.
Right.
You have to get your opponent in the ambulance, door shut.
Door shut.
Door shut. Yes, that's the rules. That's the only rule.
Them's the rules,
Them's the rules
in an ambulance match.
I've actually had a couple ambulance matches at work too.
Trying to get like a drunk person.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. It's. I was like, I'm having flashbacks now that you're talking about it.
Oh, okay. So,
Is it like when you slam the doors, you're like, it's your problem.
He's yours now.
yours now.
Absolutely how it goes.
All right, Tolbert, tell me a little bit about this match.
All right, so they make their way to the ring. This match starts off very quick with some strong offense from Bam Bam. He may be old, but damn, he can still move around and deliver some punishment. He goes right into Mike, just whipping him into the corner, pounding him. But Mike Awesome comes back with some quick offense, a pretty impressive little, I called it I guess like a jaw jacker, like a Tracy Smothers type move off the second rope to start his offense. Then we take it outside of the ring. Bam Bam goes over the top. Classic big guy move, kind of Vader-esque, kind of going end over the top. And we have some outside action going on. At one point, all kinds of stuff comes into play. Chairs. Bam Bam takes a shot from the timekeeper's bell at one point.
Right.
Going just back and forth, and this kind of turns into a hardcore match right off the bat. So we have some back and forth on the ringside. We start to make our way towards the ramp, kind of teasing the ambulance coming into play. We have some funny spots in between. At one point, I think Mike Awesome gets a cup of popcorn or ice or soda to the face.
Right.
That was pretty funny and notable.
Thank you, Tolbert. Thank you, Tolbert. That was very notable.
And they're having a good
Tolbert's
time with
top
it.
3.
Yeah, the popcorn in the face is great. But they're having fun with it, and it's well paced. It's looking good. So they start to tease the ambulance a little bit. First, Bam Bam gets Irish whipped into it, takes some headbutts to the back, and Mike teases that he's got this in the bag pretty much, right? Starts to try to open the doors to force Bam Bam in. Bam Bam counters, reverses it, gets Mike against the back of the doors, goes for just this huge punch right through the back of the window.
Okay.
Just punches out the back of the ambulance. It was great. So that cuts him open a little bit. He starts to bleed. We see a little bit of color. I was actually worried about him a little bit. It looked like he might have actually broke his hand. The commentators kind of tease that a little bit, juice it up a little bit, but it goes on. So we have some back and forth around the ambulance, slamming each other into it. They make their way back towards the ring at this point. Everyone's confused. Why are you going back towards the ring? No need to. Keep it out towards the ambulance. I don't know.
Are you saying wrap it up, boy, at this point?
No, I'm not saying wrap it up. I'm just saying, where's this going?
Oh, right.
Much. So they make their way back to the ring. Little wrestling. Immediately right back out of it, though. Right back to kind of the hardcore-esque stuff. A table comes into play at one point, set up on the curtain at a little angle. You think Bam Bam's going through, and it looks like he's off his balance. He's about to go through, but he reverses it and gives a nice little, I would call it like almost like a belly-to-belly kind of suplex, awesome, into the table. And that's great. You think, all right, Bam Bam's got this, man. You're just going to drag him up the ramp, throw him in the ambulance. But Mike's still got some fight left in him. Awesome, delivers some offense as they go down the ramp. They get to the front of the ambulance, right? Mike gets stunned. Bam Bam proceeds to climb up the top of the ambulance, just ripping it apart, ripping the lights off.
It's a pretty cool visual.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. All the wild sirens are going off in the background.
Sirens?
Sirens.
Sirens? What are you, my grandfather?
Sirens going off. Anyway.
You hear them sirens?
So
Odysseus heard the sirens.
This is your next challenge.
it was the breakfast I had at
Put
Chris's
the wax
on
into your
Saturday.
ears, Odysseus, so you can hear the sirens.
As a professional, I don't appreciate the making fun of the sirens.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Davenport.
A professional. All they do is watch porn and eat steak.
And
Pour bleach down the wrong.
and wash poison ivy off with bleach.
the
Also,
way you
PSA: don't wash poison ivy off
that's
with bleach.
disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened?
All right, so we got a great visual here of Bam Bam standing at the top. You think he's like, what is he going to do? Elbow drop off the top, get him. Well, Awesome pops up, delivers a little blow. Bam Bam goes right through the top of the ambulance.
Right through the
just
top of the
disappears.
ambulance. Just disappears.
And
There's a little puff of dust.
Yeah. Awesome's even surprised at it. Like, oh my God, what just happened? Everyone's kind of surprised. Well, the doors are shut, ladies and gentlemen.
And that means
Mike Awesome's the winner. That
Mike
70 guy
Awesome is the winner in
defeated
this
Bam
matchup.
Bam, which I thought this, honestly, I thought it was going to be a squash hardcore match type of deal, but not
You were
so.
surprised.
I was swayed.
You were swayed.
I was swayed.
Tolbert, while you're still here, can you give me the high spot, a haiku, if you will?
The Sirens Echo.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ!
Who's going to the ER? It's Bam Bam. It's him.
It's Bam Bam. It's him. Folks, thank you for listening for this week's episode of $2 Steak. As always, we will come at you on Tuesdays. Thank God it's $2 Tuesday, boys.
$2 Tuesday.
Next week, we have got Survivor Series. We've got some fun little matches.
Fun little matches.
Fun little matches on next week's edition. Mike, you have got a very traditional Survivor Series match. Cookie has got a non-traditional Survivor Series match.
What are they, though?
Your match is Team American Dream against Team $1 Million Dream. So you have got Team Dusty Rhodes against Team $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. You will see Soul Train Jones in your matchup, and you will see the debut of The Undertaker in his first televised matchup.
Ooh, I watched that not too long ago on YouTube. It's great, man.
It's a good matchup.
It's a great visual.
Cookie has
I'm
got
excited.
a match between the Dudley Boys and Jeff Hardy against 3 Minute Warning, which is a interesting matchup.
I watched that yesterday when I should have been watching my match.
Great. And your matchup, did you watch your matchup already?
No, I just watched
You've got
Cookie's.
Stone Cold Steve Austin against
I saw that,
Mankind.
though.
So
Yeah.
you should have some fun with that one next week. Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast, and we'll come at you next week with another exciting episode.
Duke Nukem
They're
Doom.
the same game.
Duke Nukem Doom and Wolfenstein were like just
They were very. They were just
I was
reskins.
8 years old, just shooting Nazis and random.
You can't what? You can't
Get to the mic.
You can't.
We got
pee in a
Panda.
urinal.
Panda on the
throw
mic.
money at alien strippers in Doom.
And you also cannot pee in a urinal.
This is correct.
What did he used to say when he used to take a piss? He used to say something. I thought he used to say something else.
And
Never
then
mind.
when you would throw money, he'd say, "Shake it, baby." Don't act like I never played Doom or Duke Nukem.
Oh my God! Again,
Same game.
Again!
It's the same game. Where's Tolbert?
Tolbert, do you think Mike was unprepared today?
Oh God, how bad?
Tolbert
was
hadn't even watched his match.
Tolbert comes over and he's like, "Oh, we're recording. I didn't know that."
Tolbert
just gave
literally
up on
took
it.
one of my envelopes and wrote his notes on it.
Oh God.
Tolbert's envelope said Katie on it. I took a picture.
It was Katie's rent check, apparently.